Well, grab your coffee. We have an early one from London this weekend. Broncos and Jets go at it on Sunday. Both teams headed in opposite directions, with Denver just soaring and this offense clicking, and the Jets looking all sorts of lost as of lately. Here's more from head coach Aaron Glenn.
Listen, we know we have a good opponent that we're going against, but there's some things internally that we have to fix when it comes to ball protection, penalties, defense, offense, man, making sure we score. Listen, I love getting 3. I do, man. Well, I want 7. And when it comes to defense, man, we want to force them to kick 3. You know, hopefully they don't get them, allow them to get down there. But we're not trying to give up 7. And all those things, like we're really digging hard into them to make sure that we do the right things to get that done.
Ooh. Aaron Glenn, the first Jets head coach, you guys, to start his tenure 0-5. So big yikes there. More on this. We welcome back John Breech and Ryan Wilson. You guys just heard from Aaron Glenn there. It's clear he knows that there are things that need to be fixed. This team trending in the wrong direction in so many aspects of the game. John, what has to change?
Well, maybe leaving the country will help, because they're 0-5 in the United States. 0-0 in London, so maybe that's where you turn things around. But the one thing that has to change is this defense has to play better. When you hire someone like Aaron Glenn to be your head coach, he is a former defensive coordinator. He is a defensive-minded guy, so you expect the defense to improve, and that simply has not happened. They have struggled to stop the run. They haven't forced a turnover through 5 games, which I think makes them the first team in NFL history to make it that long without forcing a turnover. So those are things you absolutely cannot have. And so when your defense isn't forcing turnovers, when they can't stop the run, that puts more pressure on your offense, and the offense just isn't good enough right now to handle that. So Aaron Glenn, the first thing he needs to do is just get this defense playing better, and maybe that's what they do against the Broncos on Sunday morning. But right now, the Jets are quite a mess.
Yeah, it's been 5 weeks in real time, but seeing Aaron Glenn give that press conference, it looks like 50 years, because in August his hair was dark jet black, and now he looks like this. Like, this man has lived some life in 5 weeks. John's right about the defense, and the lack of turnovers is puzzling, to put it kindly. Offensively, the offensive line can't block anyone. Justin Fields is actually playing at a pretty high level, but he's not pushing the ball down the field. They only have one receiver to throw the ball to, and that's Garrett Wilson. Next down the list, you have to go to number 6 in terms of receptions to find another receiver that's not either a running back or a tight end. So they have a lot of things to sort out. And I think that the answer is this. This isn't going to get solved this year. It's going to have to be a 2 or 3 year project. And then the question becomes, can owner Woody Johnson be patient enough? Because historically, he hasn't really been when these teams have hit the skids in New York.
All right. Well, if they're going to start trending in the upward direction, who on this team has to show up this weekend, Ryan?
I'm going to go with Sauce Gardner. And, you know, if you watch the games on Sunday, it looks like at times he's not playing to the level we're accustomed to see him playing. Breech just talked about the lack of turnovers, not only by Sauce, but by every single member of that defense. But he's going to have an opportunity to get some shutdown reps against Courtland Sutton. And he has actually played really well when you look at him individually in terms of tight window throws that he has forced. The issue is, as John noted, they can't stop the run, and the other guys are running open elsewhere on the field. But at least he gives you an opportunity to force Bo Nix to go elsewhere and perhaps turn to the run game. So I want to see Sauce Gardner get back to the form he was playing at early on in his career, because he hasn't quite reached that in recent seasons.
My guy that needs to have a big game if the Jets are going to win is Breece Hall. You look at what he's done, despite the fact that the Jets are 0-5, he is quietly ranked in the top 10 in rushing yards. He's averaging 5.3 yards per carry, and he needs to have a big game because the Broncos' pass rush is so good. They have the most sacks in the NFL heading into week 6, so you have to take some of that pressure off of Justin Fields, and the way you do that is to feed Breece Hall and let him go off. Now, I know statistically the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the NFL against the run. They're giving up less than 90 yards per game, But when you look a little deeper, they're giving up 4.1 yards per carry. So you can absolutely run on this team if this doesn't turn into a blowout. The Jets keep it close, keep feeding Breece Hall, and maybe they do enough to pull off the upset.
All right, let's go ahead and switch gears to their opponent that they will see this weekend, this Broncos team that has just been wheeling and dealing as of lately. Just how dangerous can this Denver team, Ryan, be?
They can make a deep playoff run, as deep a playoff run as any other team in the AFC, because we know the AFC West is wide open, given the way the Chiefs have stumbled and the Chargers have stumbled recently. And yes, we saw the Broncos lose games early in the season in ways they probably would have not liked to have lost, including one to the Colts. But here's the thing. The defense is lights out. Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator, is absolutely getting after it. These guys are dialing it up, whether it's Nik Bonitto off the edge or Patrick Surtain II in the secondary, and a whole other cast of characters that a lot of folks may not know about that are playing at such a high level. Offensively, Bo Nix is one of the best game managers / point guards among the crop of young quarterbacks we are now seeing in the league, and that's not meant in any way, shape, or form as disrespect. It's meant in a way that he is doing exactly what Sean Payton wants him to do, getting the ball out quickly, allowing his playmakers to make plays in space, and relying on that run game. So I would not be surprised if you told me this team won the division and found a way to win a playoff game or two, because that's how good they're playing. The defense is great. It'll inevitably come down to Bo Nix playing consistently and just getting rid of some of the tiny mistakes we've seen a couple plays each week this season.
Another one of the main reasons why they're soaring right now is because of linebacker Nik Bonitto. League high 7 sacks through 5 games so far this season. John, how would you describe the season he's having?
Well, he's just been spectacular because he's been playing so well. That's why the Broncos defense has been so dominant this year. When you look at them statistically, they've given up the second fewest points, the 5th fewest yards in the NFL this year. And so when you have a guy like that who gets after the passer, as you pointed out, Jordan, he's leading the NFL in sacks. He has 7 on the season. The Broncos as a team have 21 on the season, which is the most in the NFL. I don't think any other team has more than 16. So they are just so far ahead of everyone else. And when you can get after the passer in today's NFL, that puts your defense a step ahead already. And so you can really tell why the Broncos went out and decided to give him a 4-year, $120 million extension before the season. I think a lot of people maybe didn't know how good he was. You see the huge contract get signed, and he has come out and earned every penny of that deal so far because he's been carrying that Broncos defense playing very, very well.
Yeah, he's showing them now, that's for sure. Aside from Bonitto, though, who is your player to watch for Denver this upcoming weekend, Ryan?
Patrick Surtain II, and he has been lights out. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, week in and week out. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's physical, he has ball skills, all those things. And I mentioned him because if he shuts down Garrett Wilson, good luck finding someone to throw the ball to if you're Justin Fields. As I mentioned, receivers 2 through 5 on the Jets in terms of leaders are either running backs or tight ends. So if Garrett Wilson is taken out of that game, an already nearly impossible task becomes that much more difficult. Breech talked about Nik Bonitto. Here's the other thing. They're only rushing 4 primarily Vance Joseph's front 7. They show a lot of simulated pressures. They get home half the time, which ranks 3rd in the NFL in terms of pressure rate, which means even one more person back there in the secondary to help out that group, including Patrick Surtain.
Ryan, you went with 2 corners as your key players, Sauce Gardner and Patrick Surtain. I'm going with 2 running backs. For Denver, I'm going with J.K. Dobbins. We talked a little bit earlier about how one issue the Jets defense has been having this year is that they cannot stop the run. They're giving up over 140 yards per game off the ground. And here you have J.K. Dobbins, who has quietly put together an impressive season so far. He has the 5th most rushing yards in the NFL. And the Broncos have a very balanced offense, so it's not like you can kind of focus on one thing. Let's stop the run. Well, then Bo Nix will go and slice you up with the pass. And if you try and stop the pass, then Dobbins could go off. So when you talk about London games, too, I think sometimes because of these 9:30 a.m. starts, the offenses can tend to start a little bit sluggishly. Well, how do you stop that? You just feed your running back. And with the Broncos having Dobbins, he's the perfect guy to feed, and I think he could have a big game against the Jets.
Sounds good to me. Gentlemen, with all this being said, let's get a game prediction. John, you're up first.
I am going with the Broncos. I just think they are a much, much better team than the Jets. So unless their body clocks haven't caught up to that English time, I have to think that they win this by double digits.
It's called Greenwich Mean Time, Breech. Nice try. I would love for the Fighting Rick Spielmans to win, but I have to go with the Broncos for obvious reasons.
All right. So for the Jets, it doesn't matter which soil they're on. It's going to be a loss anyway. We'll see, you guys. I don't know. Maybe they prove you wrong. Great to see you guys breaking down this matchup on Sunday. It's going to be a good one. But on CBS, we have a full slate of good games going on for you. 1 o'clock window, we'll see the Browns and Steelers at 4:25 Eastern time, though. Haley detailed out this game earlier in the show, the 49ers and Bucks. That's going to be a big test for Baker Mayfield and company. It all gets underway Sunday on CBS or stream on Paramount+.